Are you trying to make more sales, find more leads, and grow your coaching business? Today, Patricio Ordonez is going to be talking to us about how to turn your book into more sales, more leads, more success for your coaching business. And some of you who already have books are going to want to tune in. For others of you who haven't written your book yet, this might be the calling for you to take the next step in writing your book. I'm Justin Janowski, your host of the Sales Strategies to Christian Coaches podcast. Thank you for joining us today. I started this podcast because when I first wanted to be a coach, I had made only one sale before going out of business because I didn't know what to do next. 3 years later, I tried again. I made 3 sales and then went out of business. And 3 years after that, when I launched for the third time, I did over $250,000 in revenue my first year in business. And the biggest difference for me was getting a mentor, somebody who could teach me how to sell, how to market, how to design and price my offers, and how to be a successful entrepreneur as a faith-based coach. That made all the difference for me, and we're going to share a lot of those strategies with you so that you can grow a successful business and fulfill God's calling on your life. Today, like I said, my guest is Patricio Ordonez. I met Patricio and his amazing wife, Daniela, at an event we were at. We were both speaking, sponsoring, and engaging in PodFest in January in Orlando. We had a great time getting to know each other. We sat across from each other at dinner, and I just immediately loved them. I'm like, this couple is amazing, and they're on fire for God. They're doing really cool things in the marketplace, and their specialty, the thing that they're helping people with most right now, is helping people who are aspiring authors write and publish their first book, and people who've already written books launch and grow their following through the book, using the book as a business tool to get on stages, to book more sales conversations, to close more deals, and to inspire and lead more people. Patricio, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
One of the reasons Patricio's here is because he and his wife are sponsoring our Christian Coaches Academy Live Conference in July. It's July 15th through 17th in Milwaukee. Patricio is going to be taking the stage and delivering an amazing keynote on how to turn your book into more sales. We're going to get a taste of that today. By the way, if you're not signed up yet, come join us at Christian Coaches Academy Live. It's going to be an amazing, amazing event. You can find out more by going to www.f2itribe.com/CCA Live 2026. We'll put that in the show notes. Patricio, though, I want to ask first if you would share a little bit of your journey as a coach and an entrepreneur and how you got into the work that you guys are doing now.
So thank you for having me here. Such an honor to be here with you, Justin. I appreciate you. Very grateful for you. So it all started when in the pandemic, my wife got fired. So she went into this vision that we had. God revealed us this dream of starting a business and helping other people with visibility. That was the main goal at that time. And so we went from trial and error. We ran like, I think 120 challenges we ran before we actually discovered ourselves, like our secret sauce, like people say. And my wife got fired. We were trying to figure it out, and we were just trial and error with our challenges with the business. And then in 2024, I got real with God. And then like literally a year after that, I got out. And my wife's been praying for me to get out of my 9 to 5. So our journey has been kind of like trial and error. And then when we find our secret sauce, my wife was like, hey, I love books. What if I could turn it to an actual passion and help others do the same thing? So when she was a little girl, she used to love to read and stuff like that. And for me, it was like, I love business. What if we help people turn this book into an actual business? Like, how would that work? And I think it was 21 or 22, God revealed that to us. He was like, hey, the book and business framework, the book and business. And we were like, okay. So we had our first challenge ever on the book and business. And it was like a lot of people there. We're like, oh my goodness, I think this is going to work. But before that, all the different challenges, we were focused on heart healing, on influence, on leadership, on this, a bunch of different challenges, but none of them worked. It almost felt like we were pulling teeth to get the clients into our business. And so when we tapped into our secret sauce or our area of influence in our community, that's when things started working. And that's when things started working for me and my wife. And my wife is very passionate. I'm very passionate about what we do. And we love helping people not only write their book, but like, how does that fit into your purpose? Like uniquely how you were made. And then how can you turn a business that is not just a business, but is a purpose-driven business, so that when you're working, it feels like you're having fun. So
Yeah.
does that answer
I
your question?
love that. I love that. And what I love about that journey is it was a journey of trial and error and experimentation, but you guys found the answer when you were in action. And I
Mm,
think that that's true for so many entrepreneurs is
yeah,
and my first mission statement, my first target audience, my first business focus as a coach wasn't what I do now either. And I think
yeah,
that that's the truth for most successful coaches and entrepreneurs is that they learned along the way and there were some pivots and there's some change of directions and God surprised us in a way or two and revealed
yeah,
more as we got going. But most people, I think that they wait on the sidelines a little bit and they hope to have the perfect plan before they take any real steps of action. And the truth and the wisdom I think that you're coming to the call with through your story is that for most people, it's actually in the action, the imperfect
yeah,
action, that the truth reveals itself. And so I just want people to
yeah,
receive that. If somebody's listening and you've been trying a bunch of different things and it hasn't quite stuck yet, it hasn't quite worked, you're like, who's my audience?
yeah.
Sometimes it takes a couple pivots before we find the greatest truth. And so thank you so
Yeah,
much for sharing that. If
you're
somebody's listening
welcome.
to this and they haven't written a book yet,
Mhm.
I want to ask this question. Why should a coach write their book? Why should they write their first book if they've never considered themselves an author?
So basically, if a coach, and we meet a lot of these people who are Christian coaches, secular coaches, we talk to them a lot. They ask me the same question. They're like, why should I write a book? I already have stages, I already have a business. And I was talking to one person specifically, and he's like, I have a paper, like all of my teachers are like this big of a
Mm,
stack. And he's like, I just have to bring them. He's like, when I'm teaching, I'll go there and I get all those papers. And I'm like, what if you put that stack into a book? And
mm,
also, you position that book so good that you're able to give it away for free. And then later clients will come to you, or
mm,
you can sell it and then clients will come to you. Because a book for a coach or a business owner is not your testimony. That's not how we position it. We position it the right way so people are having breakthroughs when they're reading this book. And when they
mm,
have breakthroughs reading that book and they say, man, I love Justin's book.
mm,
I have to figure out what else does he does. What else does he offer? If he was able to give me a breakthrough through this book, I can't imagine what his program is going to do for my life. So
mm,
for those coaches and entrepreneurs, you need to write a book because it makes you an instant authority before you even get into stage. It
mhm,
makes you an instant authority before you even get to sell. So a lot of people come to us, they're like, wow, Patrick, thank you for writing that book. Thank you for giving me a breakthrough. There was a man that it was in our conference. He messaged me like an essay of the book that I wrote. He said, Pat, I have never seen a book like this.
mm,
He's like, I want to thank you. I'm starting to apply this same principles that you have in your book in my business,
mm,
in my country. And he's like, it's already working. And I'm like, wow. And it's because that is the results you want them to have.
mm.
It has to be a high level result that they'll be like, wow, if he's teaching this in a book, what else can he offer as a coach? So it
Yeah.
makes you an instant authority.
I love that. Becoming an instant authority.
Yeah.
Before the call, you and I were chatting a little bit before we clicked play, and you were talking about the author authority, right?
Yeah.
Anything you want to add about that?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, so I just released a podcast recently and it's more about just walking from imperfection to perfection. And God was like, listen, just show up raw, real. Okay. So in the podcast, I was talking about that when you write a book, you become an author. But then if you add more words to that is authority. You're an
Mm,
author authority. So instant authority. What a book does for you is it literally places you as an instant authority. Let's say, for example, John Maxwell. How did he become an instant authority? This man literally writes every day and he has a book every year.
mm,
And guess what happens? That instant authority stacks up, and next thing you know, you will become somebody like John Maxwell. They're like, this man writes. He's about his business. He's about God's business, right? And
mhm.
so when you write a book, you become an instant authority in your area of influence.
It's good. It's good. And you talked about writing a book that helps people have breakthroughs as they're reading the book.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how does somebody write a book that leads directly to breakthrough?
So when you write a book that helps people have breakthroughs, usually with a positioning that is going to help others. So basically, let's picture this. 5 years from now, I usually say those are the people that you need to serve. right?
Mm.
So if 5 years from where you are now, you were, struggling, an example with me, I was stuck in a 9 to 5. I wanted to be with my kids. I want to be with my wife 5 years from now, right? Now I'm
Yeah.
able to serve the same people, but I understand their pain. I understand where they're at. So the way you're able to help those people have a breakthrough through the book is understanding where they are right now. So when they read that book, they're like, I feel stuck. I know I'm called for something greater. I
Mm.
know I'm called to influence people, right? Whatever your area of influence is. And so helping somebody have a breakthrough is showing them where you were once and where they are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hero's journey, and it's what we
Yeah.
talk about in public speaking also,
Yeah.
which, a book and speaking, like, pair so well together, a book and coaching,
Yeah.
training, facilitating
Mhm.
groups, all of it fits together so nicely, but it's that hero's journey, and this is one thing that, somebody told me that made a lot of sense, which
Yeah.
was when we're thinking about, like, providing training, speaking, writing to our audience, being super clear on what are our most ideal client, which you're saying might be you from 5 years ago. I love that. When you think about that person, you remember back to your story before the breakthrough for yourself, where were you at? And thinking through, like, what's the internal challenge that the most ideal client is facing that you've faced and overcome? What's the external challenge that the most ideal client is facing that you've overcome? And by being able to speak to those challenges and be vulnerable in the sharing of your story, that ultimately, as we talk about the hero's journey and like how we overcame that, well, that becomes the process. That's what we're writing the book about, right? Is overcoming the internal or the external struggles and challenges that we're facing
Yeah.
and the breakthrough that we experience ourselves and how. And then when people relate and resonate what I'm hearing from you to the story of where we were, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's where I am now. And they can see where you've gone. They're like, that's where I want to go. There's a motivation in there, and the process ultimately can lead them to it. Any other keys in the writing process or even in the preparing to write process? Are there one or two other keys you could share quickly here that might help somebody who's in process of writing their book or thinking about writing a book?
So key number one is I always share this story with our authors and our business owners who are potentially getting there and some are already, creating some really good income for themselves is look at the story of Moses. I always start with why, because majority of the time people don't write their books is because they don't have a strong why.
Hmm.
Like I wrote my book because I want to leave my kids a blueprint. So one day when they are in business, they're like, oh, this is what we need to follow.
Mm.
Because my book literally came out straight out of the Bible, just extract whatever the Lord was revealing to me and I put it in that book. So start with your why. Like, why do you want to write that book? Because the why is going to carry you through the days where you're like, I don't feel like writing today.
Hmm.
And so some people just need to know the direction of their book. For me personally, I think of legacy. I think of like way beyond myself. And I think a person who's starting the journey right now, do it for your grandkids. Do it for the people who one day are going to be like, oh my goodness, thank you, grandma. Thank you, grandpa. Somebody like me, kids, right? And so do it for them. Act like if you're sitting across them in a table and you're looking at them and start small. Write a page a day. That's how I started. I was in my 9 to 5. I used to take 20 minutes to write my book.
Hmm.
Just 20 minutes. And then after that, I used to do other things. And then that 20 minutes was every single day's laser focus. And then over time, it becomes a habit. And then you're kind of like desire to have that because we as humans, we have so much inside of us that we want to speak and we don't know how to say it. Allow the book to be the place where you deposit all your ideas, your knowledge, your information, your frameworks, everything that you have. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of a 20-minute a day habit. It makes it sound
Yeah.
so much lighter, so much
Yeah.
easier. It's really helpful. Okay, so when you think about turning a book into a business or turning a book into sales, I know you're going to be talking about a lot of this at the conference as well. Can you give us a taste on like what are some of the key steps? Like let's imagine the book was written. You've written this great
Yeah.
book. How do we actually turn that book into new clients?
So basically, when we talk about authors or business owners, they think, hey, I'm going to become an author and the goal is to sell more books,
Mm.
right? And the goal is never to sell books. The book is to create an urgency into your programs. So, an example, right? How do you turn the book into an actual business? So, we position it in a way how God designed you,
Mhm.
right? And then we help you discover your pain, your process, and your promise. And we help you discover that so you're able to see how you can position that book that aligns directly to your business. An example, and this is crazy, Justin, listen to this. My wife's purpose, her core purpose was to be a teacher. She's an English teacher, right? And then she loved to read books. And God was like, I'm going to use this to make her somebody who helps others write books. And that's not all my wife does. My wife does everything I do, and she's just phenomenal. And so she positioned her purpose of loving books and my purpose of loving business.
Mhm.
So my wife she's a master at helping others write books. And me, I'm a master at helping others in business. So
Mhm.
we collide perfectly together with the book and business.
Yeah.
And we play off each other. She's a master of all things, but she's amazing at what she does.
Mhm.
So helping people, my wife and I, what we focus on helping people, what were the pains of what you were at,
Mhm.
right? And what is the process? What is the framework? What is the system? Or even to go deeper, like what we teach in our communities. Number one, what is the message? What is the message that you're carrying? How can we put that message in a book that attracts leads? So later on, you have that message, which is the book, right? And then after that, how can we put that into a framework
Yeah.
to help others walk from A to B or from A to C? And how can we help when you have that system now? How can we create the offer so others can buy
Mhm.
that? What is the offer? So that's kind of like how we help people turn from a book to a business. And literally this framework came straight from heaven. One day it was 3 a.m. God was like, get up, Patrick. I got to show you something. I'm like, Lord, I am literally sleeping right now. Can you come back tomorrow? Come back tomorrow, Lord. He's like, get up. I have something fun for you. He's like, write down these 3 words. He's like, message, framework, offer. I'm like,
Mm.
what is that? And then he started revealing to me. He's like, this is how you help people go from A to B.
It's
And
good.
so, yeah, basically that's it.
That's good. So the message, which is the pain, the process, the promise,
Yeah.
the framework, and then the offer. And so the book's going to share the framework. And this is an interesting thing I learned a long time ago is like people are like, oh, should I really share all my stuff in the book? Like, nobody's going to buy my program. But the truth is, if they love your book, they love the framework, they want the next step, and it's going to draw people to your offer. How do you take somebody who's a reader? And I love what you said before, too, because most people who write books spend more money writing the book than they ever
Yeah.
make from the book directly through book sales, right? So that's not a profitable
Mm-mm.
venture. But when you use
No.
the book to book speaking engagements, when you use the book to find your ideal clients, then it becomes a very profitable tool.
Yeah.
If somebody's got the book written, they've written the framework, they're prepared with a great back end offer, how do they get people to move from the book to the offer? What's that process look like?
So basically, there's a whole system ladder, the ascension ladder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the book is the entry point.
Mm-hmm.
The book is how they get to know you. A lot of people run ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
People run ads and you need like 8 or 9 touch points just so they can maybe buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
So a book is almost like an ad. You give people the book, it becomes personal because it's in their house with them. An
Yeah.
ad is in a screen is not that personal. Like as you 8 times you get to have the same face. They're like, oh, maybe I should buy from this person. But a book is more personal. It stays with you right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes this instant authority. And when they read it, they have a breakthrough. That's the entry point. When somebody has a first breakthrough with you, they're gonna be like, I want more of this. What is this? And then they're gonna be like, hey, it's Faith to Influence Challenge. Boom. I'm gonna sign up to the challenge. Instantly, if it's $17, $20, $30, they're gonna be like, I want it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just read this book and it's amazing. I don't know what else he has to offer. And then you do the challenge and they're like, oh my goodness, Justin's amazing. What
Mm-hmm.
else does he have? And then that's how they go into your offer
Yeah.
because it starts by first giving them breakthroughs and then moving it up the ladder into where
That's
they're
right.
gonna have massive breakthroughs.
Yeah, and it's really about just understanding your ideal customer, ideal client journey. They
Yeah.
go from here to here to here in an ideal scenario, and
Yeah.
making sure you have the right CTA or call to action every
Yeah.
step of the way. So, what's the call to action in the book? The thing you're going to invite them to do next,
Yeah.
and then after that, what are you going to invite them to next? And so, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think for people to get their minds around this, this is how a book can be such an incredible tool. And
Yeah.
We referenced it too before, but
Yeah.
that book can lead to speaking engagements because it gives you authority, it gives you
Mhm.
credibility. It's easier to book stages when you've got a book on the topic and area of expertise that you want to speak from the stage on as
Yeah.
well. You have founded something really cool, you and your wife, called the Kingdom Book Awards. And I got to go to your recent conference and your
Yeah.
gala, and it was such an amazing thing. And it's an event that celebrates Christian authors and it promotes Christian authors and their books. And you guys are literally giving away incredible awards, first place and runner up in like so many different categories for Christian authors, a stamp that they can put on top of their book, something that gives them extra credibility and even more authority, especially in the Christian space. And like, there's so many people who are honoring different kinds of books, but there was really a gap in the Christian author space and like having a special event just for them. Could you just share for a few more minutes about that? And also, like, what's the process for somebody submitting their book to the Kingdom Book Awards? And how would an author who's listening to this know that they're the person who should submit it?
Thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. The Kingdom Book Awards came out of a need that we had. When we started, everything was on fire for like Kingdom entrepreneurs. Oh my God, Kingdom entrepreneur. Everybody was just on fire. And we tried to get into people's stages, like, hey, I'm a Christian too. And it was almost like, nope. People were kind of like all in their own little circles, but they
Mhm.
would not allow others to have visibility, if that makes sense. So, like, it
Absolutely.
came out of a need because we're like, wouldn't the kingdom be about giving visibility to others? Because that
Mhm.
also gives you credibility for you, and then you grow with them. So, it came out of a season of visibility, and the Kingdom Book Awards is to celebrate Christian voices. It's almost like equipping them with a reward so they can continue going higher. The Kingdom Book Awards is for Christian authors who have written that book. It's been in their shelf for many years. Or maybe some people said, oh my goodness, thank you so much for the award because it's been in my shelf for almost 10 years. It received no award. And so that is like fuel for me and my wife because like this is the reason why the Lord told us to do this.
Mhm.
Because authors deserve a reward for their hard work. Because being an author is not easy. It takes a mindset of the 1%. I say this in my community all the time. It takes a mindset of a 1% because being an author is not easy.
Yeah.
So if you're an author and you're like, hey, I would love to submit my book, I think Justin has it here, or you can go to kingdombookawards.com and submit your book. I think it will be a great asset for you.
Yes, www.kingdombookawards.com. And what I'm hearing from you is they don't have to have written the book this year. If they haven't submitted the book before, it doesn't matter if they wrote it 3 years ago or 5 or 10, they can submit the book now. Is that
Yeah,
true?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome. And what I loved about this, I was at the Kingdom Book Awards. I was at this event. It was the sweetest event. It had the most amazing Christian authors and leaders, and it was such a beautiful, beautiful group of people who came together to celebrate one another. And this isn't the sort of thing that you buy your way into. You're not paying for the nomination or something like that, like some of the other things out there in the marketplace. You're literally just submitting your book. It's going to be read. It's going to go through a process, and you'll find out if you're a finalist in the Kingdom Book Awards.
Yeah.
And then at the actual event, at the gala, they're going to name a second place and a first place winner, and both are going to receive awards and recognition and pictures, and everyone dresses up and they walk down the red carpet. And you don't have to be at the event to submit your book, but it's such a cool event as well, and I highly, highly recommend it. And so, if you're listening to this, you're a Christian author, you've written a book. It's incredible all the different categories that they have, and so there's a lot of different categories that you can submit your book in, and so there's all kinds of different books, right? You can have a book about truth, you can have a book about storytelling, you can have a book about family, you can have a women's book, a men's book, an education book, a ministry book, a leadership book, an arts book, a business and finance awarded book. There's going to be a book getting an award in health and wellness. There's a children's book category. There's a media impact category. There's so many categories. I'm just going through a handful of them. But if you've written a book, you need to go to www.kingdombookawards.com and submit your book for nomination and see if you make it into the final round in your category. It's a really cool way for us to celebrate Christian authors and celebrate each other and share great stories and ultimately just shine a spotlight on the kingdom as always. Patricio, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. I feel so inspired by you and Daniela. I'm so excited for more time with you in person. People who are listening to this, I got to tell you, wait till you see Patricio take that stage, man. You light up on the stage, brother. And I'm excited
Thank
for
you.
people to meet you there in person. Come join us at CCA Live. Patricio, any final words, any final thing coming to you before we wrap?
Come to the event,
Yeah.
Justin's event. If you go into different events, and I'm not knocking nobody like Tony Robbins or different stage, but if you're a Christian going to other events, you need to be at Justin's event because it's going to be filled with the Spirit. It's going to be people who are doing what you're doing, and it's going to be like-minded people that are going to help you get to your next level. So I'm excited to be in your event.
Amen, brother. We're going to have so much fun. I'll see you soon. God bless you.
Okay, bye-bye.